see the rating again. It's low. Okay, Kristin, I see you, girl. So I didn't caught you. What are we gonna do? It's fast-paced, it's trauma-filled, it's a mystery, it's a thriller. What do you expect? Yeah, I'm almost 70 pages in and I'm like, the third half of this book. Am I even okay to read this right now? She is epic. She is that girl. This is just such a good representation that, like, don't put other people's feelings ahead of your own. Hi friends, we are here with another episode of my TBR Takedown. If you are new here, I have not done one in a while, if I'm being honest. And basically, I love buying new books and collecting books, going book shopping just like everyone else. But it's like, what's the point if you're not gonna read the books you already own? And so I have started this series. It's not original to me. It's floating around on YouTube, but I have decided to take on the challenge of taking down my TBR by reading books on the Physical TBR. And so today I have decided to read the lowest rated and the highest rated book on my Physical TBR. Now, what I will say is I have bought a bunch of new books and I have not added those new books. I kind of just kept it with the books that were already on my TBR when I started out 2024. But we are going to start the challenge out with the lowest rated book. So I actually bought this back last year in like September or October, and let me see the rating again. It's low. I'm gonna pop it on the screen. Wait, it's not that low, but I'm just saying compared to the other books, it's low. Okay, yep. So the Nightingale is the top rated book currently on my TBR, coming in at an average rating of 4.63. Now let's see. Oh, actually, so the Fury is the lowest rated book at 3.38, which is wild. So I did read that book. So the current book that is the lowest that I have not read is The Other Mistress, and it's rated at a 3.5, which is not bad. A 3.5 is not a bad rating at all. I mean, I really like some books that I've given a 3.5. It's just the lowest currently on my Physical TBR, so I'm excited to get to it. So I did not read the back of it. I don't think it's necessary. I think the title tells me everything that I need to know. It's titled The Other Mistress, and it is by Shanora Williams. What I will say is that I am only 4 chapters in, 9 pages in, and I already love it. I already enjoy it. It says that it's a thrilling, twisty tale of seduction, betrayal, and obsession. A scorned wife isn't the only one looking for answers at any price. So it's about to be juicy. It's about to be a good time. I absolutely love the author's note. I love people who want you to value your mental health as opposed to reading their book. So I love that. She does say, writing this really tugged at my heart, and not in a pleasant way. If anything, it ripped me wide open and I was left raw for days as I processed this story and the traumas that were created with these characters. I realize this is a work of fiction, but I would not have felt okay sending the story out to the world without a heads up, or to at least encourage the reader to take note of these trigger warnings. So you might want to check trigger warnings. I love that the font is big. I love that it has short chapters. I love that it's easy to follow. I do believe that this is going to be one of those books that is for a targeted audience, and I'm almost sure I might be the audience. So I'm just really excited to get a little bit further into it, and then when I have something to say, I will come on and I will update you guys. Okay, so I just made it to page 74, chapter 23. And this book is a bit of a hot mess. That's why I'm the target audience. You have to enjoy something that's gonna be revengeful, a bit dramatic, entertaining, a little unrealistic, some drama, okay? However, I'm not the target audience for this writing style. Like, I'm not really feeling the writing style as far as, like, she's constantly talking about, you know, how their hair is, what they're wearing, what they're looking like, and I'm just like, I could care less about her outfit and her handbag. Let's just focus on the meat of the book. So I don't really like that. I have not read reviews to see why people didn't like it, but so far I'm still really enjoying it. There are moments where it's very unrealistic, obviously. Like, so our main character, I did have to read the back to make sure that I didn't spoil anything for you guys. And I think you pronounce her name Adira. I think that's how you say it. But she's basically found out her husband is cheating with 2 different women. And one of the women, Jocelyn, she's gonna be friends with her to try to see how she can get her man back. Girl, what? Couldn't be me. Could not be me. This Jocelyn chick had the audacity to tell her, like, oh, you know, I know why you're so in love with your husband. Like, he's so cute and successful, and then he's obviously great in bed. Right there. Right there. I couldn't do it. I need to get it from the table and I need to leave, or I'm gonna have to put my hands on you. And then she's like following the other girl with Jocelyn. Listen, now, if people didn't like it because they were getting irritated, I can understand that. But the storyline, it still has me so captivated and so hooked. And then there's like this little side story, and I don't know who these people are. So yeah, I'm interested, and yeah, I'll have more thoughts at around like the 150, 200 page mark. Good morning, friends. So I hope my eyes don't look too puffy. Yesterday was a very, very sad day, and I honestly don't even have to share this with you guys. I want to share this with you guys in case you see my energy declining throughout the video, and I don't want to give up on the video. I actually am really enjoying this book, and I need the distraction. I need the escape. And so I just feel like, let me at least let you guys know what's going on behind the scenes. So I talked about it in my last video when I was starting like my summer reading diaries, but then I just took that clip out. Basically, my grandmother is not doing well, and as a family we are extremely sad, and she has been fighting for 2 years now, battling cancer. Oh, and now it's back and it has metastasized, and yeah, so that's where we're at. Right now, we're just making sure that she stays comfortable and pain-free. She made a decision to move from palliative care to hospice care. My day was going so well, and then we did like a family Zoom where my mom was just letting like me and my sisters and my cousin know that like what was going on with my grandmother. And then I thought I would be able to work and finish out the day. I did not. I instantly got off that Zoom and I was sobbing. Okay, I was sobbing. And then I clocked out. My husband came upstairs because he works from home too, thank God. And then he just let me cry in his lap. And all I wanted to do was just go and see my grandmother. I don't know why. I just wanted to go and see her. So I went and I hung out with her, clocked out, and yeah, that was my day. And then I like cried myself to sleep. So I am saying that because I did not get to read much, which obviously in this circumstance, that's more than fine. So I did make it to page 124, and I do really like the book. I've been kind of spacey with everything going on with my grandmother, which again, that's fair. So I did take a few notes. So our main character, she's very successful. She seems very attractive. She's very smart. And I do realize why the author, Shanora, does talk about fashion so much in the book. I believe that she's a fashion designer, our main character. And like I said, she's very successful. There were moments where she's seen like some of the articles of clothing that she has designed in stores. So that is why they bring up what people are wearing and things like that a lot. And it's not a bad writing style. I don't remember if I said it was bad. I don't think I said it was bad. I just think I wasn't wowed by it. And that still stands. It just does not impress me. I am literally listening to a book right now by Sally Rooney. Her writing style wows me. I've read books by Toni Morrison. Blown away. So it's just that the main genre that I read, the writing style is so impressive and it flows so beautifully. It just blows me away. And so then when I read books like this, it just doesn't impress me, which is fine. It doesn't need to be for a thriller. It really doesn't. You have to go into a book with the genre and the point in mind. I'm not all that much of the target audience like I thought, okay? I feel like people who like reality TV would love this book. I don't really watch reality TV. I don't mind it. So I do like reading books that give me that messy, trashy reality TV vibe. It's very entertaining. It's very fast-paced. It's very mysterious. I am invested to know what's going to happen because I cannot believe this lady has befriended one of the mistresses, and this mistress is so sneaky. I feel like secretly she really does want the husband, but she's trying to make it seem like she doesn't. The husband actually ended it with this particular mistress because he's actually way more into the other mistress. So you have Adira's the wife, Jocelyn is the mistress that Adira knows about, and then there's Juliana. She's the second mistress, the one that he seems to be into the most. And there was this part in here I didn't really like. You know, it just didn't seem that realistic to me. A lot of the book doesn't seem realistic, but it's fine. It's fiction, it's fun, it's fast-paced, it's drama-filled, it's a mystery, it's a thriller. What do you expect? But she like confronted him about Jocelyn, and the way that she confronted him and how nothing was really done. No explanation. He didn't even ask her like, how did you find out? I just felt like there was so much missing from that scene, but she still has not told him that she knows about Juliana. Jocelyn found out about Juliana from the wife. And so now Jocelyn is trying to concoct this plan for Adira to get Juliana out of the picture forever so that the wife can have her man back. This is crazy, right? This is such a crazy story. One thing I did notice about the wife, Adira, so she does have low confidence. She's very fixated on why her husband has decided to cheat and like what's so wrong with her. And I don't think that that's an uncommon feeling, but I'm very different. I do hold myself to a high regard, and I completely understand that you make a conscious choice to embark on infidelity or have an affair. It doesn't have much of anything to do with the other person. Maybe there's things in the relationship that could be better, that could lead you to make that choice a little bit easier, but that choice is made simply because the person just made a selfish choice. Their own insecurities, their own things. This is just such a good representation that like, don't put other people's feelings ahead of your own. So she does not want to bring it up to her husband that she knows about Juliana because she doesn't want him to leave her. That's wild. Like, sis, this remind me of that audio from TikTok, like, she ain't no diva. And that's exactly how I'm feeling. Like, boo, know your worth, know your value. Like, girl, if you don't check that man and if he wants you, he'll have you and you guys can work through this. If not, baby, move on, get you someone else new. And so she does kind of drive me nuts, but I feel really bad for her because she's just really insecure. Like I said, there's a side story going on, and I'm not sure if it's her side story or Jocelyn's. I'm really sure it's hers, and that's why she's so insecure. But then again, it could be Jocelyn's because I don't really know why we get Jocelyn's point of view so much. It's not all that valuable. I feel like the author could have just kept it one POV all the way through, but whatever. I just feel so bad for the main character because she is not doing well. She's got like this secret app now on his phone where she can see the text messages. Whew. Between him and the mistress, and I'm just like, wow, this lady is inflicting so much unnecessary pain on herself because she just won't confront her husband. This is intense. It is intense, but I'm having such a good time reading it. Like I said, it's been a very, very good distraction with everything going on with my grandmother, and so I am going to continue to read it. I will be back with any updates if I feel like there needs to be any updates. If not, I will finish it out and then give you guys my final thoughts. Good morning, friends. I hope that you are well. So my shirt came in, the one about me getting on my husband's last nerve. And he was like, Joyce, I cannot believe that you actually bought that shirt. I have to show you guys the bag, but the lighting might not be the best. So let me see. It's so freaking cute. I just love it so much. So I did go ahead and I finished The Other Mistress. We're going to talk about that in a moment, though. But for now, I have been making this like Starbucks dupe. It's the iced peach green tea lemonade. So my peach green tea has already been steeping for a couple minutes, and I did already put ice in there. Ooh. Now I'm just going to get some ice, some lemonade, and some honey. And it's just the easiest thing, and it's so delicious. And with the tea, I like more lemonade than tea, so this will actually make me 2 cups. So let me get the lemonade. Tell me you have kids without telling me you have kids. They drink all the lemonade. So I can't even have my delicious beverage. Like, I can't even. And I had like real fresh squeezed like lemonade, and the kids like to drink the like artificial stuff, like this dull lemonade. Why wouldn't you drink your lemonade? Why would you drink mine? Oh, I'm so sad. That really sucks. So it's looking like it's just gonna be a peach green tea. It's so nasty and I'm so disappointed. Anyway, I did go ahead and finish The Other Mistress, and this was my intro to this author, and it won't be the last. I will definitely read another book by her. So the Goodreads rating, there aren't even 4,000 ratings for this book, but it is rated at a 3.50. And I honestly think that is a very accurate rating. I also gave the book a 3.5. I did round it up on Goodreads to a 4-star. And I didn't even read any of the other reviews yet. I just kind of wrote wrote my own, and I can pop it on the screen if you guys want to like read it and pause the video and like read it or whatever. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was extremely wild. It was very sad. It was very interesting. It's actually a great mental illness representation. The backstory is very sad, and it's a direct correlation as to how childhood trauma can negatively affect you. It can cause you to have a form of mental illness, and you know, certain things can trigger you, and then it's kind of set your mental illness off into like a spiral. And so it's a very deep look at what happens when you put other people before you put yourself in all aspects. Even in the backstory, their mother was so fixated, it seemed to me, like on having a guy, and because things didn't work out with whatever guy, she would just fall apart. She would take it out on the kids, and it just was so sad to witness. And then Adira, she just loved this husband so much, and she just held him to such a high regard that she didn't take care of herself. She started to spiral. She was drinking. She wasn't taking her medicine. She just stopped meditating and doing things that made her happy. And she was trying to do those things like going to dance, and it just didn't work for her anymore because she was so invested in this guy and the other woman. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I am just so not like that. I am very much, let's have a conversation about this, okay? So I didn't caught you. What are we gonna do? You know, or I didn't caught you and we're done. So I feel like those are really the only two options. Like she was so obsessed with this other woman. It was sad. And she was also obsessed with the other mistress too, because that other mistress was everything that she would want to be. Brave, strong, fearless, able to tell it like it is type of person. The whole journey in the book was just interesting. I thought it was good. Like I said, 3.5, even 3-star books, they're not bad books. It was very crazy. It's definitely toxic. Like, girl, what was you on when you wrote this? It's hard to read it sometimes, but it was super gripping. There were scenes that just were pointless to me, where they could have just been pulled from the book or pulled from the storyline. And there were some twists and some things that were just like, it was just a lot, okay? It was definitely a lot. I see why it got the rating that it got, but I am so happy that I read it and I finally got this off my TBR. Absolutely love that for me. So now we're gonna go ahead and read the highest rated book on my TBR, which is The Nightingale. Oh baby. Let's hope this book does not destroy me. I'm already in a tender state, as you guys know, but today is a better day. Yesterday, it wasn't a good day. I just felt drained and spacey and in shock and just blah. Plus it's that time of the month, honey, so everything is just extra intensified right now. So yeah, I'm excited to get to The Nightingale, and I'm gonna get into it, and then I'll give you guys my initial thoughts. Sad to read right now, but I'm still wildly intrigued. Yeah, I'm almost 70 pages in, and I'm like, no, but really, okay, so let me be serious. So first of all, the first chapter, it was so good. It takes place in the present day, and our main character, she has a son. She's made it known that her husband has passed on and that she's sick, and I guess she's gonna be transitioning soon, not sure. But there was like a chest of all these things that she had, and she was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I have not told my son the truth about something, but she didn't say what. So the first chapter really does hook you, and then it flashes back to the past, and it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just, I'm not connecting, and it's kind of a lot going on, but then it's like nothing going on. There's like a lot of bombings, and it's just an interesting 70 pages. So I do have hope, because this book is over 500 pages. That's insane. I'm pretty sure it's gonna get better, because it's not bad. It's not bad. The writing style is good. It's definitely not slow paced. It's just, like I said, not something that I'm overly connecting with or even overly interested in, if I'm being honest, but I am interested enough to see where it's headed. So I know that's kind of conflicting, but you guys get the point. Okay, so we are at 400 pages in, so I am almost done. The book has about 564 pages. First of all, my glasses are so crooked. Bear with me. This arm is so loose. I need an eyeglass kit. It's fine. Anyway, I almost had to do a soft DNF on this bad boy, okay? It just was not hitting. I mean, I was over 100 pages and I was still like, it's a no for me. I'm gonna have to DNF this thing. But then it got so much better and I was finally able to find a connection with our main character. So the story actually follows, oh, Lily was having snacks in here. So the story actually follows two sisters, Vienne and Isabel. I love their names. So Vienne is very strong in her faith. She's very sweet. And then you have Isabel. Isabel is a bit of a firecracker. She's a rebel. She's very untamed. The book is actually very descriptive. Some scenes to me don't even feel necessary, but it's a very, very picturesque, very, very descriptive writing style, which I absolutely love. I really like the parallels that we get to see between the two sisters. Your sisters can drive you absolutely crazy, but if the necessary occurs, you're gonna have their back. They may drive you crazy, but we love them to our core. And so I do absolutely love that we get to see that depicted in the book. And even though they are extremely different, okay, these girls are very different sisters. Vienne is a mother, and like I said, she's very organized, very faith driven, going through tough times. And then Isabel, no kids, she's the younger sister, she's a bit of a wild card, and they're both on separate missions, okay? But they're actually very alike and they don't even realize it. If they deem something important, then they're gonna go hard for what they deem important. And I absolutely love that. There are like very subtle romance moments. So I did go ahead and start annotating, if you can see. I don't have much to annotate. The tabs that are like this like goldish brown color, these are things that like resonated with me and I am gonna share one with you guys. The ones that are like this turquoisey color, these are just things that were like important to the story. And then the dark blue are little romance moments. I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. I found it very interesting, just the different dynamics and the different ways in which you can love someone and how it's risky and how it's hard. And I am enjoying the physical experience more than I am the audio experience. I do find myself drifting off sometimes and I have to go back and like re-listen. But with the physical book, I am completely enthralled. I'm highlighting, I'm smiling. I don't know, I just connect better with this book physically. The book is extremely thick. I do think this is a perfect fall or winter read because it's so long. It's one of those books that you would, you know, have like a warm beverage and a cozy sweater or your blanket and you can just read it over some weeks, you know. And then yeah, it's probably my mood too. So I am gonna go ahead and share one moment from here because I thought it was so fitting. And it was the first moment, well, one of the first moments where I was like very connected. And like I said, it takes place mainly in the past, but there are a few chapters where we get a glimpse of the present day. One of the sisters, we don't know who it is, but at this point I've taken a guess as to who I think it is, but I'm not going to share. We get to hear about her pretty much getting ready to like enter a new phase of her life. And it's so fitting because like I shared with you guys about my grandmother, and we did get notification today from the hospice team that we can come and we can say our goodbyes. And I think I'm okay even after receiving that news. I was heavy and I've been heavy all day, but I still have a level of peace because I know that she's gonna be healed and whole, and I love that for her to be pain-free. She has fought so hard for 2 years at this, and if she's not gonna beat it, then this is where we're at. And so I thought this was so fitting, and I was just like, wow, I completely and totally understand. She looks at her son and she says, I look at him loving this child of mine and knowing my death will devastate him. I don't want him to watch me die. I don't want that for his daughters either. I know what it is like. Some images once seen can never be forgotten. I want them to remember me as I am, not as I will be when the cancer has had its way. And I was just like, oh my God, am I even okay to read this right now? And I just thought it was so powerful because I kept thinking that. I kept thinking on Sunday when I went to go and visit my grandmother, today's Wednesday, she was still so present and aware and responsive. And I was like, wow, I can't imagine being in her vantage point, watching us watch her getting ready to transition. It's gotta be tough, you know? And then even us as her loved ones to watch your loved one go through this, it's like a lot. And then she goes on to say, in this new pared down version of my life, I am to be cared for by my son instead of vice versa. It's not really comfortable for either of us. And I was just like, could this be any more fitting for this very, very current moment? And I was just like, wow. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and finish it. Like I said, I'm 400 pages in, so I only have about 160 left. Yeah, not really sure how I will feel tonight or tomorrow, and so that's why I was like, you know what, let me just update while I'm in the mood, and then once I've had time to just say my goodbyes to my grandmother and finish reading the book, then I will give you guys my final thoughts. When would I, as a wife and mother, risk my life, and more important, my child's life, to save a stranger? That question is the very heart of The Nightingale. Oh my gosh, I finished it and it was a whopping 4 stars. I thought for a while there it was going to be like a 3.5, but the ending just took off. The third half of this book is phenomenal. It is beautiful. It was heartwarming. It was heartbreaking. I remember crying. I remember smiling. I remember being gutted. It just, wow. And there was another line in here that was just so good and it was so powerful. So it's basically the last sentence of the author's note, and it says, "We must never forget these remarkable women and the daring, dangerous choices they made to save others and to protect and fight for their way of life." I loved this book. I loved Isabel. At the beginning, I was very indifferent about her character. I didn't know if I liked her. But once you go on the journey with this young woman, baby, she is a boss. She is epic. She is that girl, okay? And I am in awe of her story. I am so grateful that Kristin Hanna is such an amazing storyteller. And I could totally see why they're making this into a movie. Totally see why. It was just so picturesque. It was so many scenes that were just so realistic. There were so many sacrifices made. This was such a good look at sacrificial love. I mean, it was some very hard scenes. I cannot go into detail because if you want to read this book, you need to go into it experiencing certain scenes for yourself. And so I don't want to share specific moments, but it was beautiful. I was so able to relate to Vianne. I love Vianne. Vianne is like, that probably would have been me back in those times, because she loved her children unconditionally. And there was this beautiful line in here, so beautiful, and it's so true. It says, "It is not biology that determines fatherhood, it is love." And I feel that same way about parenthood in general. Even me, one day I would love to foster children because I just feel like I have so much love to give, and I know that, you know, those children, they're out there and they may not be in the best situation, and I would just love to take them in and love on them, and I don't know, just give them a better life, give them some hope. And I was just like, I am so Vianne, okay? The sisters, like I said, they're written very different and everyone views them very different. Isabel, she is your risk-taking firecracker, and then Vianne is a nurturer. She is very much about taking care of her family. That is my life's dream. That is what I believe I am called to do. I take care of my family. And so I was able to relate to her quite a bit throughout the story. And she had to make some very, very, very devastating choices in order to protect and save her children. It was so sad. This book was so sad. A lot of people probably cried so much during this book, and especially me being in such a tender state, I didn't. I thought that I would cry a lot more than I did. However, I did keep coming to tears, kept coming to tears, kept coming to tears. There was one scene where I did just cry, and I can't share what scene it is because it would be considered a spoiler. I feel like I need to do some research because I'm like, how accurate is this book? I don't really know. So this small little part might be a spoiler. Scoop past it. I'll put a little timestamp, but I just have to share it. Once they ended up coming back to each other, it was hard. They were completely and totally different people because he had been off to war. He's seen stuff. He's been through stuff. And then she had experienced so much pain, so much grief, so much heartache, so much stress, so much anxiety, so much, just the list goes on. They find their way back to each other, and it's hard. It's not easy because they are both different, but it's so beautiful to see them come back together. Oh my God. And just be one and be a family. It was, this was a good read. This was such a good read. And like I said, going through everything with my grandmother, I thought this book would destroy me, but it was actually very relatable and very comforting. Yes, but with that being said, my grandmother did earn her wings. And she did finally get to ring the bell. So I am so happy that she is free from a body that was failing her and betraying her. And yeah, she's healed and she is whole. I would have loved for her to get that healing on this side, but that's okay. You know, we are happy with our memories. Yesterday we were picking out pictures for the obituary, and yeah, it's been sad. I've been having some really, really sad days really hard days, but I was like, you know what? Today I feel good. I put on makeup. I actually did my hair yesterday. You guys would not have wanted to see me. And I got dressed and I was like, you know what? I'm going to close out my vlog because I definitely wanted to wrap up my final thoughts on this. And so if you were like me and you wanted to like DNF it, hang in there. Just take your time, even if you have to take a break from it. Hang in there. It gets so much better. That second half and that third half, it hits, okay? I do think I said it wasn't as much romance, but the romance picks up. It's still not heavy romance to me. It's actually it's a very sad story. It takes place during the war and people are trying to survive and protect each other, protect themselves. It's a lot going on. So romance is not the focal point, but I love the blurb. It says it's an unforgettable portrait of love and war. That is so true for this book. And I'm just like, okay, Kristin, I see you, girl. I will definitely read another book by her. I actually have The Great Alone. And then I also have The Woman as a Whole through Libby. And you guys, people are really wanting to read this book. I am number 33 in line, which is wild. And it says I started number 100, 12 copies in use, 92 people waiting in total. That is crazy. I'm like, this book better be good. People were raving about, they said it's like one of the best books written so far this year. That girl can tell a historical story. I will say that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that my energy wasn't too bad. And I know if it was, I know that you guys are offering me grace because of everything that I have endured these last 2 weeks. It has been so sad. I am so sad, so sad. And there are moments where I am absolutely not okay. And then there are moments like this where I am okay. And like I said, I'm just happy that she was able to be healed. You know, that is what brings me peace, because towards the end, it was really sad to see her suffer. And so now that I know she's pain-free and she's no longer suffering, I get joy from that. But I do miss her. I think we all do. This is a immense hit. This one really hurts. And so you guys think of me, pray for me, take care of yourselves, and I will do the same. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.